Okay, hello, welcome to Two Maggies Up Top, that Premier League podcast fueled by the Magnums. We're back again, episode 15. The vibes can't done. Come on. Anyway, to my left, I've got my co-host. You know the name, but if you don't already know, it's Big Lows, aka John Lobie McKell. What are you saying, Lows?
I can't get away from this. Dead last name I got found when it comes to this.
What are you saying, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're back again, just me and you, man.
Come on, milestone episode and that. Come on.
Yeah,
15
nice.
episode, we're still going strong, man.
How are you, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm calm.
Good.
We go again.
To my right, we got the real host.
Come on.
You know who it is.
Come on.
Weighing 15 stone.
Oh, man, I had the weight and that. Man, I had the
What is that?
weight.
Am I right?
Yeah, nah, it's about right still. These days. Lockdown 3 in it.
Big Kes, aka Kes Ferdinand,
Come on.
aka the guy that gets sent home early, Jensen Fernandez.
He's actually trimmed his head as well.
I'm just thinking about you on a night out, fam, because you're always going home early. To be fair, we're all ready to go home early when we get released.
Trust me.
Apart from when the pubs don't let us out. Was it pubs with no alcohol?
Apparently, yeah, no alcohol in that, so obviously you can be there all night. I'll have 5 Coke, please.
This is what it is.
You need hip flask.
Yeah, trust me. Or the uncle things.
Yeah, nah, go on Amazon.
How are you, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm calm, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. We're here again.
Come on, man. Listen, another episode. Plenty to discuss this week, man. Where I want to start really is Mike Dean. Before we even dive into Mike Dean, he's actually asked to be relieved of his duties this weekend for the next Premier League fixtures because he's been receiving death threats after a few decisions he's made. Now, the first thing I want to do is come out openly and just anyone that makes death threats online, you're a complete fool.
Over football.
I mean, anything. You're a complete idiot.
Yeah.
I'll be real with you, man. Yeah. The worst thing about it is the guys making death threats online are the kind of guys where you'll bump into them in Tesco's and they say sorry to you. They're weasels, man. You know what I mean? They're sorry. But online, they tell you you're going to kill this and that. Because no real killer is going to be online telling you he's going to do X, Y, Z. Yeah, so first and foremost, I want to listen, send some love out to Mike Dean and his family. And all other victims of online abuse, man. There's been a few recently, Axel and Zabi as well. I just think that, you know what? I mean, this discussion is rife at the minute, but I do think that these companies, social media companies, have to do a lot more to whether it's buzzwords and blocking comments or they've got to do a lot more, man, to protect people online because it's like online is like some lawless community where you can just say and do what you want and there's no repercussions.
Trust me.
You know what I'm saying? So
I see we obviously Ian Wright thing where the guy that got away with it basically got a slap on the wrist.
do you know what? I mean, that's a good point. The Ian Wright one, I think even the judgment is just a bit of a kick in the teeth to everyone that's ever suffered any online abuse because the judge essentially said that the kid was remorseful and, you know, he's got a good future ahead of him, so we'll let him off. That then sends out a message that, listen, you go online,
It's okay to do.
yeah, you can say X, Y, Z, as long as you say sorry afterwards, whatever, slap on the wrist, keep it moving. So yeah, that's a good example to be fair, because it sends out the wrong message.
Yeah, I agree, man. I
Yeah,
agree.
so-
I think, like I said, the whole buzzword thing, I don't think the answer is footballers, anyone in the limelight coming off social media. I think the answer is social media platforms, get your shit together.
Yeah.
Because it's taking you this long, let's go back to diversity, it's taking you this long to try and be diverse, but you're still allowing, you know, these racist comments to come out and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm telling you now, yeah, shame the Donnies that are fucking coming out and with these racist comments. Bring them up and go, yo, this is the guy that done it.
Yeah.
People need to do that, so they're isolated.
But that means that they need to be identifiable first. So then that means that, for instance, you can't be on an anonymous account.
You know, that fake Instagram accounts and they can't be doing that.
Yeah.
One-
Whether it's a case
yeah.
of, like, people said it before, and I think it's a great idea,
Yeah.
there being some sort of ID validation when you create an
Yeah.
account,
Number, yeah,
that
all that
links
thing, yeah.
an account to a person. Because at this rate, you're going to have people going online and just literally saying whatever they want.
Fake account.
Yeah.
No picture.
And the thing is this, these guys can be anyone. It can be anyone, man. So I think more needs to be done. But it's a good thing that now people are coming out and actually speaking on this sort of thing, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, big up Mike Dean. But I want to stick with Mike Dean in the same sense because he's been at the centre of a few controversial decisions, let's say, in the last few weeks. So Mike Dean's given 2 red cards in his last 2 games that have been overturned on appeal. Right, so the first one was Bednarek against Southampton. Didn't really have a major impact on the game. They lost the game 9-0. Well, you could say it did have an impact on the game. And then more recently, Thomas Souček received a red card, which was overturned. What I want to note is that on both occasions, the VAR official that has instructed Mike Dean to go and look at the screen was Lee Mason, and I think that needs to be noted as well. With the Souček one, I want to talk about that one. That's what happened over the course of this weekend. I just think it's a crazy decision from Mike Dean to give a red card in this instance.
Yeah, I agree.
If you've watched the game, you can see that Souček, he's trying to almost free his arm, and in doing so, he's made contact with his elbow to make sure.
But let's be clear. The direction of his arm was upwards.
Yeah,
it was upwards. He wasn't trying to go out. He was going up. You know what I'm saying?
Not only that, if you look at where he's looking at the time of contact or even beforehand, at no point is he looking at Mitrovic to see where he is to drive an elbow aggressively into his face.
Yeah.
He's literally trying to free his arm, makes accidental contact with Mitrovic's face, who hits the ground like he's been shot.
Yeah.
But but that's on him. But
listen, he's got to contribute somewhere for the team. You know what I mean? It's not goal, so he's going to try and get man set off.
But here's the thing. So the VAR's told the referee to go and look at the screen. Mike Dean's run over to the screen and looked at it for about 3 minutes.
It's not clear and obvious. It's not clear and obvious.
So from the time you got to look at it that many times, it's not clear and obvious, right? But my thing is, I would love to know how Mike Dean has looked at that as long as he has and come back and still given a red card.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I hear you, man. I think Mike Dean took a lot of heat, and he deserves the heat because you're making errors now in a game where it's so vital for people staying up financially, which will help them, and obviously going down where it's going to be detrimental. Lee Mason's got to take some heat because, big man, go and tell him why you think he should go look at it. Don't just tell him go look at it because it's an elbow. Why is he going to look at it? Walk him through it, talk to him because he saw something, that's why he blew the whistle. But he don't know what he saw. So for me, as you said, he spent 3 minutes there. That's not clear and obvious. If it's not clear and obvious, it can't be a red card.
Do you know what I feel though? I just feel that when referees now are instructed by the VAR to go look at the screen, it's like they almost have to make a decision.
But people know it's going to be a penalty or a red card. People know.
It's like there's pressure. So it's like you've been told that you've done that wrong, that you've done it wrong, and not being told what you've done wrong, and then going look, you're just looking for something now that's gone wrong. So Mike Dean going over to the screen. For me personally, he could have gone over to the screen, had a look at it, and analysed the contact. Now, for me, what he should have been looking at for was number one, where is the player looking at when he's made the contact? Has he had a look to see where the player is before he's made contact? Do you know what I mean? These are things that you've got to take into account. The thing that I've heard they were looking at is the fact that his fist was clenched, which even that is nonsense in itself.
And more time, I could be clenching my fist very loosely, like, do you know what I'm saying? Or I can clench my fist very hard. You're not going to tell the difference from like this, do you know what I'm saying? From a camera angle.
It's just poor officiating all around, really. And also, with VAR, it just comes back to the argument of, is it really necessary when situations like this are still occurring, despite the fact that you're giving the referees opportunities to look at the situation? Is it a case now of referees overthinking situations rather than using their instincts that they've been brought up with?
And listen, I totally agree with the whole mistake on both sides, both referees, VAR, and the guy on the field. But I want to talk about players and the players' responsibility as well, because I want to look at Mitrovic, big pussy. I'm going to say it now, right? Because his man scored what, 1 goal this year, if that, missed bag of penalties, so he has to contribute somewhere. But I'm going to take some responsibility for players because they have I think they stand in the way where they know what's right and wrong. And I understand the whole pressure with being relegated, non-relegated, but there's also a sense of right and wrong, and there's a sense of karma. Doing something well is going to eventually help you again. I'm not saying karma's going to happen in this situation, but you've got to come out and say, big, like, he hardly touched me. Because you're big. Listen, man looks at man. He's he's a big Serbian body,
He has though.
And I think you got to tell. And do you know what I'm going to refer to? And I don't know exactly what happened, but I read something about Belotti recently, and Belotti got a red card against a defender against him, and he turned around and said it wasn't a red card, innit? And the guy ended up, I'm sure it is, the guy ended up staying on the pitch still. And that's what you want to see, or something like that, innit?
I do think Mitrovic did. There was some discussion.
Man waited for the red card to happen. Because fam, you take me had 3 minutes to watch it. Mitrovic done nothing until the red card went.
But
imagine there's a referee, you can't go back on that after that.
The flip side, the onus is not on Mitrovic to get the decision right. It's on the referee to officiate. The referee has got access to footage which shows him directly what's happened. He's able to look and assess the situation himself. I can't blame Mitrovic at all. What I would like to say though on this instance is great class shown by Souček to come out and condemn the abuse suffered by my team.
Big up Souček.
Because what he said is 100% correct. When it comes to decisions made on the pitch, it should all be left on the pitch. Yeah, if you're going to judge Mike Dean, you judge him based on his performance on the pitch. As soon as you take it off the pitch and personal and whatnot, I think, literally, all those people online need to be brought to justice. So I want that to be made clear.
Keyboard warriors, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always the way, man. Great bit of class there shown from Thomas Souček.
Yeah.
Before we dive into the fixtures, another little topic I want to discuss with you. May not be directly linked to the Premier League, but I feel it's still relevant. So recently, Emma Hayes, which is the Chelsea women's manager, has been linked to the Wimbledon job. And that's caused a bit of uproar on both sides, in the sense that if she was to take the job, she'd be the first female manager in the men's game. However, she is manager of a Chelsea women's team that's top of the top division in the female game. And she's been offered a job in League One. Now she's come out and said that it's a bit of a disrespect to the women's game, the fact that she's been offered a job so low down the men's pyramid. I mean, what do you make of that?
Yeah, it's a difficult one with, and I don't mean this in any detrimental way, and I don't mean this in degrading way, but the women's game isn't the same as the men's game, right? And I look at it in terms of longevity, I look at it in terms of professionalism, I look at it in terms of financial, I look at it in terms of entertainment. And it's not the same, right? So you can't be having judgments on terms of, would Klopp take that job? Klopp wouldn't take that job. Why would he? He's at Liverpool in the men's league. He's managed men's football. He built himself to get to where he is, right? And I look at I feel bad saying it. I looked at the women's league earlier, as you know. The women's league has 12 teams, right? And it's missing top men's teams, top big branded teams in that league. It's not the same. Like, listen, the rules might be the same, the game isn't the same. If we're being real, the game isn't the same, right? It's not ran the same, it's not played the same.
But I think
you might talk about tactics. It's not the same game, bro.
I think the game essentially is the same in the sense that it's 11 players on a pitch trying to score the opposing goal.
That's the rules.
But that's the game.
That's the rules.
Yeah, so the rules are the game, right? So in that sense, the game is the same.
The game's more than.
Whether we want to talk about the speed of the game, the physicality, that comes down to playing the game. But if you're talking about someone organising the team and managing the team, I think that for me personally, it is slightly a bit of a disrespect to overlook what a manager's done in the women's game. When you look at her credentials, winning titles.
So is it fair to then make it out the same game when the men's game's been going a lot longer than the women's game? Not just in terms of professionally, but in terms of longevity. Is that fair then to just be going, they're the same?
My thing is this, right? As a manager, you can only manage what's in front of you, and your job primarily is to get the best out of the players in front of you.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
And the group you're presenting.
So why does she want to fight? Why does she?
Well, here's the thing. So
why does she want to manage in the Premier League or the men's league?
No. Well, here's the thing. So she's not come out saying she wants to manage. She's been offered a job in the men's game. Or approached for a job in League One. But what she's essentially saying is to look at that as a step up from what she's doing is a disrespect to the women's game, right? Now, listen, you can go either way on that one. But
is it a disrespect or is it saying there's levels in this game? So what I spoke about before, it's not just the rules of the game. Football's football everywhere, right? But there's levels to this game because you would say, managing MLS or managing, Dutch League is a step down from managing Premier League, right? Managing even Scottish League, you might say, is a step down from Premier League, so it might be Championship. So why does she deserve, regardless of her sex, and I get she's done a very, very, very good job. For example, maybe one of the best jobs out there, yeah, in terms of women's football. Why does she deserve a Premier League job or a higher job than that League One team?
I think she deserves a chance at a better level because everything she's shown so far has been exemplary, and I think to send her from working with elite level players in the women's game to send her down to League One, in my opinion, would be a downgrade. Whether you believe that the standard or whatever it is, I generally think that there's a difference between working with top level players and working with lower league players.
Okay.
There's a difference. It's the reason why you don't see the likes of Klopp and whatnot taking teams from League 2 on the FIFA manager mode team to the Champions League, because their players have limits and capabilities, right?
Yep.
In their capabilities.
Does the managers as well then?
Managers maybe, but what I'm saying, that's my point. What she has shown is that she can get the best out of top players. That's what she's shown so far, on the one hand.
She's got the best out of top female players, and there's always going to be a risk when you transition. And I'm being real,
I just think I'm
not being disrespecting the game, because I think the game has grown. Women's game has grown such a long way, bro, and I totally understand that. But the Premier League hasn't got to where it's got.
No,
do you know what I mean? By chance.
I get what
it's
you're
got there because of certain things, innit? Certain reasons why.
Being able to
and
manage.
I tell you what's detrimental, and I said to you before, Phil Neville going from where he might have coached here and there to then going to women's football at England level, I think it's been detrimental to the game as a whole, not the England team, but as a whole in terms of women's football. Because you've not respected enough the women that are coaching in that team to offer them the opportunity to then do a job, right?
Well, and then he's a man, or because you've got no experience beforehand?
Both, bro. Both. Because why have you put Phil Neville in? Because it's not experience.
But the flip side to that is the current male team manager, England's manager, is Gareth Southgate, who has no real pros. I mean, he marries Middlesbrough temporarily, but he's got no real experience to then take on the top men.
No, you're right. But he's gone from youth and he's been in the same game. Phil Neville coached men at some level, didn't he? Was it Valencia or Everton? He done a little bit.
He's the coach of Valencia, yeah.
Right, and then you just jumped ship and gone, I'm going to coach women. And then holding that, then you've left the women to then go into Miami. Yeah. Which then, is that more of a disrespect that you just bounce back to Inter Miami after that?
Oh, listen, what I was saying on that, and before we move on, is where we sort of go different ways on this particular argument is that your argument is that the men and women's game is a different game essentially. But for me, the game is football. It's one game. The rules are the same, you know what I mean? Whether it's 11 women against 11 women, or 11 men against 11 men, or 11... I mean, if you're talking about kids and adults, it might be different because they're understanding the game. But if we're talking about elite level athletes at the top of their game, playing the game, for me personally, physically, it'd be difficult for a woman to go across to the men's game and have that impact. But as a manager, if you're a tactician, you understand the game, you understand how to set up a team, you can get the best out of individuals, you know how to manage each individual based on character. Yep. There's no reason why. I mean, the only thing that would hold her back maybe is the respect to the dressing room based on certain beliefs that, you know, she maybe wouldn't
ignorance
command,
in a way, yeah.
Maybe she wouldn't command the respect of the dressing room straight away. But having looked at what she's done, and if you believe she knows what she's doing, you'd soon get over that with a few.
I'm not doubting her credentials. I'm not doubting her qualifications. I'm not doubting her ability to be able to coach a team. What I'm doubting is the fact that there's levels in this game, innit? And football, in terms of a British sport, is the top sport, is the elite. The women's game is very new to being elite. It ain't the same. It's not the same, regardless of where you might look at it, right? And I take it back to, I look at the championship. The championship level women's is nowhere near the same as the championship men's, right? Yeah. And we spoke about Durham, yeah? And I joked about I bet they're a university team. Turns out they actually started off as a university team, and that's how they come across it, right? And don't get me wrong, there's no disrespect to the women's game. It's still building, it's still growing. Yeah. That doesn't mean that you, as a manager, you deserve to slip in and talk about Klopp. You know what I'm saying? Klopp going, well, Klopp wouldn't go for that job, so why should I? Yeah. Klopp and you are not in the same league, levels-wise, because the men's game is, more competitive, more financially stable, more backed, and been a lot long professional than the women's game has. And that's what I base my argument, and the longevity, that's what I base the argument on.
And listen, before we move on, the last point I'm making that is the reason why the men's game is probably more competitive is the fact that the men's game has been backed financially for longer. The women's game has been in the sort of shadows of the men's game because it's not always been backed financially.
Maybe.
But it's on the rise. And I personally, but before we move on, my personal viewpoint is that there's no reason why a female manager couldn't come in and do a job the likes of Klopp, Guardiola, because
I do think
being a manager, you might argue about, if we're looking at differences between men and women physically and whatnot. As a manager, it's literally all about how well you read the game, how well you interact with people, and how well you can set up a team.
But isn't that game different from when you're managing men and women? That's kind of my argument. Is that game slightly changed? You're talking about
my argument. The game is football. So if you can set up a team and you can get the best of those three factors, if you can set up a team, you can read the game and you can get the best out of people. Then there's no reason why. Just like why your manager at work can be a male or female, because if you understand the job, you can get the best out of people and you know how to lead a team. You can be male, female, it doesn't really matter. I think from a management or leadership decision, if you have those traits, you'll be able to
and listen, I don't disagree with you, and we spoke about it off camera. There's a lot I agree with you about, and there's some guys I'll disagree about, and that's just.
Listen, this is a topic where there's no right or wrong answer. It's all. This is why it's such an intriguing debate. But let's kick on anyway. I'm going to jump into some fixtures. There's been a few fixtures since. It seems like these games are coming mile a minute at the minute. But before I even get into the fixtures, actually, I want to discuss you currently wearing for our Spotify list. You're wearing a Watford shirt.
Man, come with a boycott thing tonight because 1 goal in 2 games is not Arsenal. It's not Arsenal. It's not the Arsenal I know. And you might have boycotted it weeks ago regarding their performances, or regarding their lack of performance.
But when I boycotted, by the way, just for the record, I didn't go to Rivals, but
Rivals. I said Rivals.
Professional club, mate.
Listen, man went for Troy Deeney FC. Troy Deeney doing his thing for the anti-racism, and big up Troy Deeney and that. Come on. And I went for Watford, right? And big up Watford because I do like Watford as a club, and I kind of like what they've done, apart from the manager side of it, and they deserve to be where they are now. And they keep shaking the bets, so they might not come back up. But listen, I boycott the thing for the Watford, London, and I would like my London teams to come up. So Troy Deeney.
Fair. Alright, let's dive into some fixtures anyway. So like I said, there have been a few games before the last time we spoke. So let's run through some of the results from last week. So you had Sheffield United, West Brom, the basement battle. 2-1 Sheffield United. They've got a crucial 3 points on the board. Interesting one because I think there's a gap now forming between the bottom 3 and the rest of the table. So Sheffield United, West Brom and Fulham being in the bottom 3.
You reckon? Or I don't know if you can count Fulham in that bottom 2 era, but maybe I'm not.
Bottom 2, they're in the bottom 3.
What I'm saying, you're talking about the gap. What I'm saying about that gap is, do you count Fulham in that kind of that 3 to that gap?
If you look at the table, I think you've got.
That's interesting because you get big enough fucking Fulham's performances and
well, here's the thing, but obviously we'll talk on the results and that. But if you look at the table now, there's a bit of a gap forming between the bottom 3
Fulham and the rest of
the next team. I think Fulham there might be at least an 8-point gap, but we'll double check that shortly. We'll double check that. But in this game, I thought it was a must-win game for both teams. Sheffield United nicked the win. West Brom, but I do like. I said this last time. I think they signed well, but it might be too much of a task now for either these teams to stay up.
I told you that from before, but you didn't listen.
That might be true now.
Yeah, you're right. Though, 8-point gap between
8-point gap, and the teams above them, Burnley, Brighton, they seem to be finding a bit of form. Wolves.
I don't know what to say, because I told you this before. And if you listened, you wouldn't be in this picture.
But here's the thing: if you look at the table and analyse the table,
if I look at the L board, you're very high up on the L board.
What else for you? But we'll get onto that. Wolves beat Arsenal 2-1. This game was a bit of a crazy game in the sense that first half we seemed to be dominating the game. There were 2 red cards in this game. First one being given to David Luiz. Now, my personal opinion on this is it's an absolutely ridiculous decision to even award the penalty, in my opinion. But even if you're going to award the penalty, to give the red card is crazy, because I thought that this whole thing about double jeopardy
Yeah.
came into play where
Time ago.
yeah,
I remember.
where if you've not gone to wipe out a man and they've got the penalty, it won't be, even if you're last man, it won't be a pen. But David Luiz actually pulled out the tackle completely from early, not made the tackle, and because the guy's studs has clipped his knee and he decided to dive like that's affected his fall, it's a red card and it's upheld by VAR.
I've seen a man dive backwards. He fell backwards when
It's
supposedly the guy
ridiculous.
the guy should took you forwards.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't
so
want to talk about
that red card for me was laughable. Some people have said it is a pen, but the red card is definitely laughable. Then Leno's red card for handball. I mean, yeah, I don't get what he was doing there, but that probably was a red card. And I got a shout out to João Moutinho's strike to win the game. It was top quality. But again, Arsenal should have won.
Yeah, but you know, shout out Runnison because he got stick for his first performance. Yeah,
he
and it was okay, bro. He looked a bit more secure. Yeah. Still third choice.
It couldn't get worse than what it had been. But yeah, you got big enough for coming back from the abuse. Again, these idiots online with this nonsense trolling. Man United beat Southampton 9-0, record equaling scoreline. Second time Southampton have been beaten 9-0 in the last 2 years. Another red card though. This was the other red card that was overturned.
What's the Donny called?
Bednarek.
No, the one before. The black Donny that got sent off in the first minutes.
Oh, Jankovic.
So did you hear?
I might have made a hell of your name, but
I'm hearing the story that this guy was ready to leave, and Southampton gassed him up, saying, "No, you get games." I mean, he was like, I'll stay." Played him that game, and then got sent off.
A red card, yeah. That was a red card. That was a legit red card. Bednarek's red card was overturned.
Yeah.
So this was the first of two poor decisions from Mike Dean. That probably led to the scoreline being as it was, but I think Man United winning this game was...
They was getting moved to.
Yeah.
Man United come out on they were on crunch.
Yeah. Man United, great result for United to be fair. Newcastle Palace, Palace won 2-1. This game was significant because Zaha got injured in this game. So even though they got the 3 points, I think that was the bigger blow for Palace. City beat Burnley 2-0
Standard.
at Turf Moor. You'd expect that. Another clean sheet for City with that Ruben Diaz-Stones partnership at the back. You probably expect more goals. Normally it's a 5-0 game when these two teams play, so I guess credit for both teams. Burnley for not conceding more than 2.
Yeah, it's been a bit
City
blitz,
City for keeping a clean sheet. Fulham Leicester. So Leicester beat Fulham 2-0 at Craven Cottage. This was a Leicester without Vardy, so Ian Atcher up top getting a shot, scored a good header. I did look at this game thinking Fulham had a chance beforehand, to be fair.
Without Vardy.
Without Vardy in the team, Fulham be playing well. If I'm being honest, watching the game, Fulham gave a good account of themselves, but they were lacking in the final third. Obviously, they signed Josh Maja, and who knows whether he will help. But I didn't see much of Mitrovic in this game. Missed a couple of good chances. Cavallero missed a few good chances as well. I think that even though I was backing them to put up a fight, I think they will. Like you got to think they've had 8 draws in their last 12.
But that's
what I'm saying. So in their last 12 games, they've lost only 4.
True.
For a team that's at the base of the table, you've got to look at it and think there's some resilience there, but it's just they're lacking in certain areas. But that may be their downfall, unfortunately.
We'll talk about it more,
of course. Leeds lost at home to Everton 2-1. Leeds are a team where, I mean, up until this point, they've won as many games as they lost. They won 10, lost 10. So it can go either way with them. It sounds cliche, but yeah. And Everton are a team which are, their strongest 11 with the signings they made are a very strong side. But
the depth is lacking.
So they may always fall short. But a good result for them there. Villa lost at home to West Ham 3-1. Now, this game was Jesse Lingard's debut for West Ham. And if I'm being honest with you, I've never been, as much time as I've seen him at Man United, I've never really rated Jesse Lingard as that great a player. However, this game here against a good Villa side, I saw man dominate the game in a way I've not seen him dominate games before. He scored 2 goals in his debut. I saw him controlling the game from that number 10 position. Brilliant debut for Jesse Lingard.
I'm just glad he danced somewhere else.
Yeah, but and you know what?
The dance has been hurting my feelings.
I remember. I still remember him moonwalking on the Emirates turf.
Mini rocked.
Mini rocked, yeah. But I can't lie. even though he's United now, I was happy to see him reignite his career. And I really, you know what, we spoke about it the week before, and you were saying that to get into the England team, you'd have to do a madness.
Yeah.
But for me, on his debut, he's done a madness. So you know what, you keep playing like that at West Ham, who knows, man? Like, yeah, so big up Jesse Lingard on that one. And the final game in the midweek was Liverpool 0, Brighton 1.
Yeah.
This is one that, I mean, if you had an accumulator on, they should always shake it.
Accumulator.
Yeah, I mean, Brighton are the team that we've always looked at that play good football and whatnot.
I told you they're calm.
I
told you them and Burnley are calm. I told you them and Burnley, yeah, very different styles of football, but they'll be calm because of the experience will come through, and they'll win games where you don't expect.
Yeah,
and it's happened.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, to our listeners that I have followed from the beginning, you know that Laurie has shouted a few of these teams as being safe. You might just get into for your lottery numbers because, to be honest with you, he's made a few good shouts. Liverpool in this game, again lacking that cutting edge. Anfield no longer the fortress that it has been for the last 4 years, which is crazy. So yeah, some crazy results there. But I want to dive into some of the weekend fixtures, because the results seem to get even crazier, whether it be lack of fans or too many games in quick succession. Yeah. But the results, man, are just so difficult to call. So I want to start with Liverpool losing at Anfield again, so second game in a row, 4-1 to Man City. Now, I mean, before I even pass over to you to get your thoughts on this game, for me, this game was the Phil Foden coming out party. And by coming out, I mean announcing himself on the big stage, because we've all known about Phil Foden and his credentials. We know what he's capable of, right? But this game was Phil Foden saying to the world that, listen, I can't be left out of this team. Yeah. For me personally, I mean, forget the goal was quality. He literally, for a young English youth that can, in this big fixture, just play like he's playing on the roads. Yeah. It's crazy.
Do you know what though? I'm going to talk about Phil Foden because this ain't the first time he plays in big fixtures. This ain't the first time Pep's backed him on a big fixture.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's played him throughout the last couple of seasons there. Whether he's not played many against other teams, he's played against the big fixture. So you know, I want to give some props to Pep because I think he's nurtured him. I think he's given some sort of good balance from where he's now. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, you got to give mad shout out to Foden because the talent, the work rate he puts in, and being able to be that guy who's going, you know what, I'm going to stay at City. Because he could have asked for a loan deal. He could have asked to go play elsewhere. To stick at City.
I was one of the people thinking that he should have gone on loan.
Yeah, but he must have got persuaded by Pep and a couple of months. But
here's the thing, because Pep was being questioned as well. And for me, I was looking at Pep thinking, when you're not sending him out on loan and he's not playing, I'm thinking that's got to be detrimental to his development. Yeah. But Pep's obviously seen something. Bro. We're keeping this.
And we spoke about money earlier. We have, off camera. We spoke about the Pep that has money and teams has money, but he also nurtures players that are there. And we've got to give big up respect. He does make players better. Foden though, against Liverpool, he was playing the fake 9 role, false 9 role. And then Mahrez come off, thankfully, because it's fucking dull watching him. And he went over to the right hand side, and he just lit up. Honestly, more time on the ball. Yeah. He was dangerous, bro, and he made Robertson look like a fool.
He did, and you know what? We often get up to players on this show for looking mager. Yeah. And if you looked at Phil Foden, he doesn't look like the biggest physical presence.
He looks like
but if you, he does. Yeah. He looks like a kid. But if you look at him when he runs with the ball, he doesn't get shaken off the ball. You see guys, you see him bouncing off guys and that. He's still got the ball. Like even the goal that he set up for Gundogan, which I want to touch on.
He moved up Henderson, didn't it? You see the goal he moved up Henderson? Yeah, he moved Henderson.
Literally, there's 3 men there. Like he's done them and he's kept hold of the ball and his balance is perfect, brilliant. So for me, I mean, the City fans must be so happy with him. And as an England fan, I think that
it doesn't touch it. It doesn't kind of relate as such, but this is what I spoke about. There's too many men that are better than fucking Mason Mount right now.
I don't think you can compare Phil Foden and Mason Mount, though, man.
Why?
Because they're 2 different players.
Why? Mason Mount trying to play
Mason.
So you said me in 4-2-3-1. Where's Mason playing? No. In a 4-2-3-1, where's Mason playing?
Before I quickly.
No.
In a 4-2-3-1,
where's Mason playing?
I'm playing Mason Mount in one of 2 positions.
No. One position.
Okay, well in the 10.
Right then, and you said to me you're not playing Foden over him. Fuck
No,
off.
where was Foden playing?
No, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. I'm asking you a question.
On a 4-3-3.
I'm asking you a question.
On a 4-3-3.
Are you playing Mason Mount over Foden in that position?
No, I'm not.
Right,
Like
that's it.
4-3-3.
That's
No, but
it.
where did no, that's not.
Doesn't matter. It is then.
No, it doesn't then.
It is
That doesn't
then.
make sense. Because you asked me where I play Mount in a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah. I didn't ask you
Even
where
though
I
we're
play
discussing.
I didn't ask you where I play Foden.
No, because when I answered for Mount, you're asking if I'd play Mount over Foden.
Yeah.
But in a
You said
4-2-3-1, I'd play Mount in the 10 and Foden on the right.
That's not what I asked though. So
It is what I asked. So you can't then say when I say Mount in the 10 that he'd play over Foden. If you're not asking where I play Foden, I'd play Mount and Foden.
This is what I'm saying. What over Sancho and Greenwood?
Sancho. Listen, before we get on to Sancho, yes, Sancho has not done nothing this season. Sancho on this current season.
And Sterling.
Blood. First of all, England don't play a 4-2-3-1. They don't. They play 4-3-3.
Right, but what I'm saying is.
So hold on. So if you ask what England play, what's the question? You're asking. There's 10 different questions.
That's not 10 questions.
What's the question?
It's not 10 questions.
What's the question?
How many brandies you had before this?
What's the question, Big Bro? What's the
The
question?
question was where would you play Mount? Yeah, that was the question. That was the original question. Yeah.
Where would I play Mount? And I said one of two different positions.
No,
but you only wanted to hear one.
One.
So exactly. So
then I asked you another question.
This guy, yeah. So you got my hands tied behind my back.
Yeah.
So only playing one position.
Yeah.
But then you don't want to know where I'm going to play the other man. So
No, I've not asked that.
But then
I asked, would you play?
But then after you've asked me, you're then telling me that I'm playing this guy over this guy. But you don't want to know I'm playing the other guy.
But your argument's pointless because that's not the question I asked.
No.
That's
But
the-
your questions, no.
That's high.
But your questions are restricted.
I've not asked you. I've not asked you fucking
No,
England
no,
11.
here's what-
I've asked, would you play him over
So
Foden?
you ask certain questions and then want to fill in the blanks of your imagination.
Yes.
Which makes the first question pointless.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
It doesn't.
It
Because
does.
what I'm saying is
In
right.
a 4-2-3-1, where do I play Mount? I'll play Mount in the 10, I'll play Foden on the left, and I'll play flipping Sterling on the right.
I'll tell you where I play Mount.
In fact, tell a lie. I'll play Mount, and let me scrap that. I'll play Mount deeper.
So this
One
guy,
at the end.
so how you at me? How you at me? And he ain't gonna play deeper.
I'll play
Right.
Mount deeper.
Yeah.
Mount one of the DM roles. He's got work rate. I'll play Foden, Rashford, Foden, and Sterling, and then Kane up top. If I have to play a 4-2-3-1.
We're gonna move on because more time.
Okay, thank you.
The guys,
So
the guys
rest of
got
my
the
case, they
whole
all fit in the team. They all fit in the team. They all fit in the team. Anyway, next game. Let's kick on. Anyway,
Big up Foden though. Big up Phil.
let's kick on. Villa 1, Arsenal 0. Now, this game was the 12:30 kickoff on the Saturday, and I'll be real with you. This, if your team is shit, as we have been, this is the worst kickoff time of the weekend because you don't even have time to settle into your weekend before these men kill your whole weekend off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're there, you're thinking, oh, they might do a thing, yeah? You wake up at 10 o'clock Saturday, watch Tickle Soccer AM or whatever, yeah? And before you know it, your weekend's dead when these men are conceded within 2 minutes to Ollie Watkins, yeah? Which, to be honest with you, I looked at the lineup and I was happy with it, bar Cedric Suarez at left back. Now, he's a decent enough fullback, but
He's a backup man.
yeah.
I did say
what's pissed me off at Arsenal, excuse me, is the fact that we're heavily reliant on Kieran Tierney at left back.
Well,
He's solid
KT,
in front,
bro.
yeah. And Kieran Tierney is my guy.
But
But if we're looking at, you're talking about trimming the squad and getting, listen, you need a backup left back. Cedric is, listen, I can't get onto him because he's a right back, yeah? But when he plays on the left back, he's got no desire to actually try and use his left foot. So every time you give him the ball, he's coming back inside and you're going, you can never go forward down the left hand
it
side.
reminds me, yeah, if I was on the left hand side, I'm not whipping it in. That's what it reminds me of.
I get that. No, you might not want to whip it in,
I'll whip it
but you can still run forward. This guy will not even go forward.
Yeah.
He will literally come back in every time, yeah? And the goal that we conceded, I mean, there's no explanation for it. He tries to knock it back to Gabriel, it's a poor pass. It's even, you're facing your own goal, which means you're on your strong foot now,
Yeah.
and it's still a poor pass. So there's no excuse for it. I'll tell you the truth though, I'll be real, watching the game, I looked at it and I was confident we'd get back into it. I was confident, I looked at the team, I thought we played okay. Odegaard come off the bench and he looked promising, but he missed a key chance where he blazed it over the bar. I look at Arsenal, I think the signs are promising with the squad we've got now, but we're halfway through the season and we're 10th or whatever we are. So
I think that's the why I
that's
boycotted
the
it
issue.
because when I deep it, yeah, we lost to Wolves, a game we should have won, and then we lost to Aston Villa
Yeah.
in a game where even though we conceded early, you had 80 odd minutes to fucking go
Yeah,
win the game.
you've got- yeah.
And I'm sorry, I can't sit here and keep backing the Arsenal. You scored 1 goal in 2 games, which is not good enough to start off with. And then the lack of composure in that final third is also pissing me off.
Yeah,
Because it's alright to sign Odegaard, right? And it's alright, you know what I'm saying? I need composure in fucking every third of the pitch.
Yeah.
So, listen, like, I don't know, man. Van Aanholt is available on a free transfer. We might need a backup thing and that.
Honestly, like, grab him.
I need to see something from him because I can't have I can't have a backup Southampton player starting on my team.
Yeah, when I look at it, I think I'll be real. I was confident up until I saw Partey go off and Willian come on. Now Willian, I'll be real with you, man. Like, I might sound like a broken record with Willian, but I just don't understand anything around the Willian signing, first of all, and how he's being used. Secondly, Willian, when I looked at Willian at Chelsea, I've said before, I thought he was a half decent player. He offers Arsenal 0. When I say 0, 0. He's come in from a team that's won leagues. He's got Premier League experience. When I look at him, he's scared to take on his man. When the fullback's got the ball, Louis, man, you look at it, the fullback's got the ball, he's running like he doesn't want it. You know when you don't want the ball, and we've all been there, yeah? Where you play Sunday League, Saturday League, whatever,
The defender's onto you.
You don't want the ball. Yeah. The pitch is bobbly, you're touching a bit off, whatever, yeah? You're running, calling for the ball, but you're not in the position to receive it because you don't want it. You don't want it. When I watched Willian, Willian didn't want the ball. The fullback's got the ball, and you're jogging beside him. I'm like, bro, but not only that, sorry to cut you, why? Because before he brought Willian on, I was saying, you know what, he's made some attacking change, I love it. He's put Saka at left back, which I would do until Tierney's back, have Saka at left back and free up Pepe, because Pepe's been alright recently. I'm just going to say that. Pepe's been decent. He's looked threatening.
Right.
Yeah? But why would you bring on Willian?
Yeah.
Willian is like I said it before, Willian is white flag. It must be Brazilian for white flag. You throw on Willian, you throw on the white flag. I mean, it's over. Why are you bringing him on?
I see Willian, and I switch off because I know that it's coming from him. Why we signed him? Okay, you might want some winners in your team, etc. I kind of hear that, and I get that.
No, listen,
when you see a guy playing trash week in, week out, listen, I'd rather you throw on a 17-year-old. I'd rather you throw on a 17-year-old with a bit of heart, with at least some sort of fucking link to the club.
Listen,
this guy is shit.
Let me tell you something. You could throw on an out of shape, lockdown free big Kez here, and I'm doing more than Willian. And you know why? Because my love for the club is too much, blood. You see Willian, Willian is playing like he's been locked down and not been able to be at the training ground. Yeah. He's playing terrible, like literally. Not only that, he's meant to be there for his experience and whatever. He's scared.
He's a prick.
I don't get it, man.
He's a prick.
You know what I mean? I don't get it. So for me, there's something dodgy in that deal. 100%. But let's kick on.